This week, the federal government carried out its first federal execution in 17 years, thanks to a last-minute decision by the Supreme Court. This comes as justices handed down decisions on many, many things. I want to get to that and some other things. We're going to bring in President of Judicial Watch, Tom Fitton. Tom, I'll get to the execution in a second. I really want to start with you. The Judicial Watch are suing the University of Delaware for Joe Biden's records. What specifically are we looking for? What do you think's in there?
Well, we're asking for his records. We're also representing the Daily Caller News Foundation. We want the records that from his Senate time that are being housed there. We also want records about decisions to withhold the records, the secrecy and the gamesmanship that's been going on. I don't know what's in there, but we do know there are records available under law for review. He's running for president. The American people have a right to the information. You know, this woman who accused him of sexual assault, I don't know if what she says is true or not, but she alleges there's information potentially not only about what happened to her, but maybe what happened to others in the Senate records. He's boasted about talking to people like Vladimir Putin when he was running the Senate Foreign Policy Committee. So, you know, he was an important senator for many, many years, and his documents, I'm sure, will be interesting. And I think it's really quite unusual that he's going to such great lengths to withhold them. And the University of Delaware, we think, has no legal right to withhold them. That's why we're suing.
It's odd in this day and age with so much transparency that they would be allowed to hold them, number one. But what's the timing on it? If you do get some sort of access to these records, you're going to get it before the election?
I don't know. It depends how quickly the court moves. And there's nothing stopping Joe Biden from saying to the University of Delaware, look, I know that we have this agreement to hide my records until I disappear from our nation's public life, but I'm waiving that. I'm running for president, and people have a right to know. So I encourage Vice President Biden to intervene and release these records as well. There's nothing preventing him from doing that.
Well, I wouldn't hold my breath, Fitton, because that doesn't sound like that's going to happen. Let's talk a little bit about this federal execution, first time in 17 years. What begs the question, why first time in 17 years?
Well, because you have the legal establishment and many judges and this anti-death penalty movement that makes it very difficult to pursue death penalty executions. Of course, the Obama administration was philosophically opposed to them, more or less. And kudos to the Trump administration for starting them up again. The gentleman who was executed yesterday, he was a triple murderer. He killed a young 8-year-old in addition to her parents, and he was convicted, Eric, in 1999. And despite
Tom, 100%. When I saw this, and boy, this was a bad guy. Why does it take 21 years to put someone to death for doing such a heinous crime?
Because you have an entire anti-death penalty industry that opposes the death penalty and litigates every step of the way. And even when they lose, they go back and fight over other issues. In these cases, for instance, the new slate of cases, executions that may take place, you had one person, people who opposed the death penalty complaining they couldn't travel there because of COVID. That had to be turned aside. And then you had an Obama judge here in the District of Columbia try to stall it further by suggesting that the medicine used to relax the person being executed is harmful. And the court said, you know, this is just ridiculous.
Right.
We have to go forward. There's no basis in law for this.
I got 30 seconds left, Tom. A lot of people are up in arms about President Trump commuting Roger Stone's sentence. It's legal. Yeah?
Oh, I think he should go further. He should pardon him fully. He shouldn't spend a day in jail, especially when you have all of these crooks and abusers who are walking around, who persecuted General Flynn, President Trump. You got Comey, McCabe, Clapper, all of them. They haven't even been touched, and yet we're going to start harassing people like Stone over basically for specious reasons. He should pardon everybody caught up in the investigation.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. Tom Fitton, the president of Judicial Watch.